All right. I have never made a YouTube video like this, just like talking to a camera. There's a first time for everything, I suppose. But the reason why I'm doing this is because there's been some uproar in the AI community recently with the whole ChatGPT new model for image generation. I believe it's called 4o or something. And particularly the meme or like the conversation starter has been like, oh, look at this Studio Ghibli filter thing that it can do on its own and all that. Yeah, that's caused a huge uproar. And just to set the scene, I despise AI art. I don't even view it as art. But yeah, I want to put my personal feelings and personal, or not even personal, just like the logic behind why that's the case on video. Because, I don't really use Twitter myself, but seeing all that stuff happen, emotions are thrown around a lot, but it's important to also, know the logic of it. But yeah, also there is sort of a personal thing with this because recently one of my friends, okay, he's probably gonna see this video, again, no ill hate towards him, but one of my friends, we were just talking about our friend group, okay, and we're talking about like, oh, imagine how sick it would be to have like a comic panel or comic strip, detailing how the friend group was made and everything. I'd be like, I was like, yeah, that'd be so sick and all. And I was like, yeah, but like, where are you gonna get the money for that? Like, it'd be so cool. That's a dream, get the money for that, pay someone to do it. And he's like, no, nah, just let an AI make it. My heart when that happened, my heart physically just sunk. I was so sad about that. Just to hear my friend say, just let the AI do it. That broke my heart. And that's part of the reason why I'm making this. So if you are seeing this, thank you for allowing me to make this video. But yeah. Anyway, for this stuff, there are two main arguments that I've heard when it comes to AI usage in art. The first being that AI is a tool for artists, something that helps them achieve the desired result that they have. And the second one is that AI art is cool. It's just cool in general. Who cares if it's made by an AI? I still like looking at it. And so I want to dissect both those claims and show why AI arts is not something to be valued. But yeah, the first one's a bit first one's pretty simple. The second one's a bit longer and requires a bit more introspection on like humanity. But hopefully I am able to communicate it properly through this largely unedited like rant style. But yeah, if you have any questions or opinions, just leave them in the comments or whatever. I'll try and answer them. But yeah, let's get into it. So let's talk about the first point, which is AI is a tool for artists. Now, the first thing that we have to dive into here is what is a tool? And when it comes in general, or the general definition of a tool is that it is going to make a job be done more efficiently or more effectively. So for example, in art, we have paintbrushes. The idea of a paintbrush is that a painter can pick up that paintbrush and with all the bristles that it has, it can paint on a canvas much easier compared to your own fingers, okay? Very hard to paint with these, much easier with a paintbrush. That's the idea. Now there are vast, you can really have any tool you want, okay? Technically you could even consider your own hands tools, but let's just say, for example, auto-tune is a tool as well. It's a digital tool that you can use to, edit frequencies in audio waves and so on. So there are a bunch of different types of tools. Now, people will make the argument that AI is one of those, but there is a stark difference, and that has to do with the vision. So, to understand that, take a second, just close your eyes and imagine making a self-portrait of yourself. Okay, self-portrait of yourself. Yeah, imagine doing that. Imagine what it would look like. Okay, so how the strokes would be. Okay, with whatever tool you're using, a pencil, a brush, whatever, how the strokes would be. Where the light source is coming from, where the shadows are gonna be on the face. Okay, all those details. Think about that. And now, like let's say you try and actually make it. You try and draw it, paint it, whatever. Odds are, because there are not all of us are artists, okay? You're gonna not make something that is perfect, okay? It's gonna probably look bad. Like for me, it's gonna look bad. I suck at drawing, but still, the vision that I had is trying to be conveyed with the tool, okay? The vision that I had. AI doesn't do that. AI, on the other hand, actually steals the vision, or actually creates its own. Because when you take AI, let's say I tell it, okay, make me a flower. Okay, I can imagine what a flower looks like in my head. I can imagine that right now. Let's say, I got like a sunflower, whatever. I can imagine it. But when I tell the AI, okay, it's not going to take what I had in here and put it on the screen, okay? It's going to do its own thing. It's going to just, try whatever it wants, okay? It's going to use its brain. You lose ownership of the idea. That is no longer your thing, okay? You lost ownership in a sense. That's now AI, the AI's drawing, okay? And the reason why is because anybody can actually make that. If anybody wrote in sunflower, okay, draw a sunflower, you would get that result, okay? The AI did it. You had zero contribution. So yeah, that's the underlying reason as to why AI is not a tool for artists, okay? It's its own thing. It's starkly different in that sense. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Like AI just is its own body, okay? It you can't trace what AI is doing. If it is a tool, okay, you should be able to describe how it's working. Okay, yeah, I know what's happening when I use this brush and I make this stroke, or when I use auto tune and I edit these frequencies. Even if it's automated, okay, you can still tell what's going to happen. Yeah, like there's some software that do things for you, as in it'll probably, like if you're doing auto tune, it'll probably cut the peaks or whatever for you automatically, but you still know what's happening. AI, you have no clue what's happening. Literally, okay, ask someone, describe to me how the AI is drawing what it's doing. You can't. You don't have the brain that it has, okay? You can't. Which is why the ownership of that new image that's been created is not yours, okay? It isn't a tool, it is just it's an image generator. It isn't a tool. But yeah, on to the second argument. So for the second point, which is AI art is cool, so who cares? This one requires a bit more of a deep dive into it. And the first thing that we have to dissect is, what is art? That's what we're talking about here. So, what is it? And depending on who you ask, you're gonna get probably the answer that, oh, well, I mean, art's subjective, it doesn't really have a proper definition. And while the first part of that is true, art is subjective, there is actually something that is grounding it. And the fundamental bit that is grounding it is expression. Art is expression of some sort. It can be in many different forms, but it is expression. Now, expression, okay, is a special type of communication, or a special form of it. In particular, it requires things like mutual understanding and so and so. I'll dive into it, but just for now, imagine it like person A and person B. Okay, there's a line of communication between them. Okay, that's not the complete idea, but still, person A, person B line of communication. So imagine making a sculpture. You spend some time making it look nice, whatever, okay? Then, it gets preserved in a museum and people start looking at it. For this sculpture, person A, you made it. Now, person B, or whoever is viewing it in the future, or whatever this time is, okay, they are seeing that sculpture and they are extracting whatever you communicated through. Okay, now keep in mind, this communication doesn't have to be perfect. The whole point is that expression is something that can be interpreted. Okay, it's not like sending a perfect message through. Expression has the ability to be interpreted in many different ways. It's not, I guess, perfect in that sense. Now, the reason why I'm illustrating that example is because you have to also factor in another example, which is, let's say you have the exact same statue. You spent time making that statue, but it's just teleported into deep space, okay? And in this deep space, let's just assume it is never, ever going to be seen again, okay? No one will ever see it. Why did you make it? Now, you can say, oh, well, it was cathartic, or, I did it to better my craft. In both of those situations, though, you are actually still preserving the person A to person B connection, okay? It's just that you were doing it in terms of past versus future, in terms of yourself, actually. So in the term of catharsis, you're sort of releasing whatever pent-up emotions you have. You are just doing that communication from yourself or your past self to your future self. In the same way how when you write a diary, you are communicating it to your past is communicating to your future. That's the same thing. And then the other example where it's to better your craft. Why are you bettering your craft? Well, probably it could only be for an art piece that is going to be seen. Okay, it's like me drawing a little sketch, then burning the sketch or whatever, and my art skills have probably improved from doing that sketch. So now when I actually make one for the people, they'll see it. So regardless of how you do it, you still preserve this person A to person B connection, okay? Very critical for this whole idea of art. And the reason why is because computers can't do that. When humans are doing that, the mutual understanding that I mentioned earlier, that is what allows expression to occur. Basically, humans all experience the human experience. We undergo the emotions, okay? We undergo consciousness, okay? We are all present in a sense, okay? We are all able to understand these ideas of sorrow, joy, grief, love, all this stuff. A computer can't. A computer can't actually understand that. Ask a computer to. It doesn't have the capability to. You can never make a computer say, for example, look at the art piece that we were just mentioning, like the sculpture or whatever, okay? Let's just say it's, some strong Greek statue or whatever. If a person looked at that, they could be able to extract emotion from it and be like, oh, this is empowering and so. But the computer will only see the rocks. It'll only see the rock that it is, just the atoms. In fact, it'll see it as just zeros and ones. Okay, same idea. And you can never get a computer to say, oh yeah, that is empowering or whatever out of its own volition, because it's only seeing the objective reality in front of it. It doesn't have a subjective sense. Now, you might be able to say, oh, well, AI can do that. No, it can't. The only reason why an AI can ever say, oh yeah, that statue is empowering. If you ask ChatGPT why, how is that, what do you feel? The only reason why ChatGPT or any other model would be able to say anything is because it is taking human sources and copying what they said, or just averaging what they said. It's not doing it out of its own volition, okay? You can never get a computer or a robot like that to actually get its own answer, or to say how you to express that emotion. And that is because it will only ever see the objective truth. Now, you might say, well, actually, we do the same thing. When I'm looking at someone else, I am just seeing the clump of atoms in that particular form. There's nothing, like crazy about it or anything. And to that I say, why do you have a name? That's the question. Why do you have a name? It's pointless. Like at the end of the day, there is actually 0 point to it. You might say, oh, well, it's actually for identification purposes. Now, it's really important. It helps us organize. Okay, we can do this way easier. Just use numbers. You'll be 1, I'll be 2, she'll be 3, and he'll be 4. Numbers are much more efficient, okay? They're much quicker, okay? It's less complicated. That just makes our lives a lot easier. We can just use numbers to label ourselves. But you would probably have a issue with that, or an issue. You wouldn't like that. In general, most people wouldn't. They would have some problem with it. We spend time making these names. When two people have a kid, they spend time. They spend months sometimes just trying to figure out a nice name. And keep in mind, when you have a society that you are trying to dehumanize, okay? Keyword dehumanize. One of the first things that you do is you strip them of names. You just put a tattoo on them that says, oh, well, you're 003, okay? You're 017. You do that. That's how you dehumanize them, okay? And the reason why names are humanizing in the first place is because they are pointless. Objectively speaking, they are pointless, okay? There's no intrinsic value to it. It's not going to stop an asteroid or whatever, okay? There's nothing that those names actually provide. However, like any gift, the actual value comes from the expression, okay? And just so you understand, a lot of AI bros probably would disagree with this, what I'm about to say. But they would argue in favor of like, oh, let's say you want to make a gift or something, okay? Let's say you want to write a poem to someone that you love. An AI bro would be like, well, okay, don't worry. ChatGPT will do it for you. Just 1 second. It'll do it. Don't worry. It's free, very time efficient, and it'll probably make a really good poem. But you didn't put any effort into it. Okay, you didn't put your soul into it. You didn't put any effort. You didn't care about it, and that makes the gift meaningless. You have dehumanized the gift. The only reason why any gift is actually valuable to humans is that you spent the limited amount of time that you have on this planet, okay, with all of the infinite choices that you have in what you can do. You chose in that vast sea of options that, oh, I want to spend the limited time that I have on this planet making this for someone, okay? That is the beauty of a gift. Now, this can be for someone in particular, or it can be for, anybody in the future, whatever. But that's the idea of a gift. And an AI bro just completely dehumanizes it, which is really funny. But yeah, that is something that a computer can never understand. The idea that, there is value to it that isn't intrinsic, as in there's something beyond the objective reality. Only humans have that. Now, you might be able to argue that in the future, like AI might become conscious or whatever, the idea of artificial general intelligence and so on. So that's actually a good debate. It's sort of undecided, whatever. That's philosophical, religious, spiritual, a bunch of other things. A very important debate to have. But as of right now, zero consciousness. And to finish this off, you still might say, oh, well, it's cool. It's still cool. I like seeing what the AI made. Okay, sure, yeah. I like seeing the binomial distribution, that one curve that goes like this. Okay, I like Euler's number, it's a nice, it's cool. I like it. Still, that isn't art because it lacks expression. There isn't actually any subjective message being carried through it, okay? In simple terms, art requires that subjective message. Okay, that's sort of the boundings of expression. Now, technically, everything that is coming out of it is just objective, as in when it comes to math. Okay, like Euler's number. Euler's number is an objective value in mathematics. Okay, in that particular field or whatever, it's a number. Okay, it's unchanging. You're not getting any subjective like emotion or whatever from it. Okay, it's just a number. Okay, it's just there. Same idea with the binomial distribution. Okay, same idea with AI art. AI art is just trying to take the average of, all this other stuff that's, been around. Okay? If I take the average, if I do 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 divided by 5, I got a number, sure. I got the mean. Okay, it's just the mean though. There isn't anything, sure, it's objective. It's an objective truth. But there isn't any expression that was carried with it. And so the important, thing that defines art is lackluster. So I guess you can say that, yeah, I like it. All right, it looks, it has a, interesting flair to it, which I don't deny. It can be cool to look at, AI and what it can try to create, but it's never going to create art. That's something exclusive to humans. Okay, so that is the video. I don't know actually how long this is going to be in total. I think it might be over 20 minutes, which I did not expect. It's a rant. I did most of it. I had a few notes, but I was speaking just off the top of my head for most of it. But yeah, if you have, again, any sort of arguments you want to bring up or any sort of opinions, whatever, just leave them down in the comments. If anybody does see this video at the end of the day, this might get 2 views. I don't know. But, yeah, aside from that, if there's anything that I do want to address, oh, this is something kind of funny. When I was talking about the, second topic of AI arts, or AI arts and if it's cool, whatever. Something that I realized afterwards was that Hayao Miyazaki, the guy, or one of the co-founders of Studio Ghibli, in a very viral clip now, from I believe 2016, I do not know, but old, he was presented with AI, and the funny thing is his points actually kind of aligned with what I was trying to say, even though I didn't factor that in when I was making it. And so I think that's it's a pretty good testament to how much foresight he had, because keep in mind, AI was nowhere near where it is now back then. And so, hey, props to him. He actually had the vision. He had the vision from the get-go. But yeah, regardless, I despise AI. I hate it. Okay, it can burn, it can perish, it can go to hell. And yeah, again, actually, what I will clarify is that in science or whatever, I actually like AI a lot. You can use AI to progress science in terms of protein synthesis and how, that can be very complicated and so. But that's science. Leave AI out of this art, please, okay? That is dehumanizing entirely, okay? I'm gonna sock an AI bro in the face. I'm gonna sock anybody that I know in the face if they are on this train, bro. I'm sorry.